Hi, everybody. Dr. Tami here, and I'm so excited because today I get to share somebody who has very similar passions to me. This is Dr. Anthony Youn. Say hi, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
And
Amy.
oh, I'm so excited. The reason that I'm so excited is because it's pretty unusual to have a physician, especially an MD, that embraces both the naturopathic ways to age well from the inside out, but also from the outside in. So Dr. Youn is amazing. He's been on every media outlet that you can think of. Dr. Oz, 20 times, Rachel Ray, The Doctor Show. We would have to take an hour to go. You are an expert, board certified plastic surgeon, but more importantly, just wrote a great book called The Age Fix. You can get it right now with a whole bunch of bonuses if you go to dryoun, DRYUN.com and
DRYOU.com.
DRYOUN.com. You got to get that right. And you will just love all the tips and tricks that he can tell you how to do things naturally from the inside and the outside. So let's talk about some of the things that you share in this great book. First of all, what prompted you to write this book?
Well, I decided to write it because, I spent 12 years as a private practice plastic surgeon, and I really have found that over the last 12 years of doing this, that I believe that virtually everybody can look 10 years younger without having surgery. So I do a lot of surgery. I do believe that for a lot of conditions and certain ones, the only real option is surgery. But there's so many things out there that people can do without going under the knife that can really turn back the clock. And there's so much misinformation out there. There's so many doctors who are trying to convince people, have surgery, have surgery, have surgery, that I think it was about time that a real plastic surgeon gave the real scoop. Anybody
Well,
and everybody, I think, can really turn back the clock effectively without going under the knife.
and there's the opposite problem too. There's a lot of doctors and, naturopaths and nutritionists and just everybody, acupuncturists who is telling you, well, this lotion and potion, and you can turn back the clock 10 years. And a lot of that is ineffective as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you have on one hand the surgery, which is, potentially unnecessary and expensive. On the other hand, it can be quite expensive to keep buying things that have no effect either. Okay, so I'm dying to hear what you think about sun damage. I think it's one of the most aging things. Youthful people just don't have it. I'm Irish. I remember the first time I was told that my freckles were sun damaged. I said, no, they're not. And the dermatologist says, well, how about your rear end? And I was like, oh, they are sun damaged. And most people think that the only thing you can do is to use a laser, and that's not available for everyone, either because of location but cost. What are some other things that really work that people can do to make their skin less sun damaged?
Okay, so in my book, I try to give a number of options for each problem, and I try to give a solution for almost every single aging problem you can think of. And just like you said, lasers or intense pulse light is a great way to take care of age spots, but it's expensive, and a lot of people, it's hard to get to a doctor's office to get that done. So there are a number of other options. If you want to do it yourself, completely natural remedy, you can try licorice root extract drops. And these drops you can buy at a health food store. You apply it onto the spot, let's say on your hands or on your face, twice a day, and it does take a while. It may take 8 weeks to start seeing those spots start and lighten up, but they will with time. If you want to go and do something what we call more of a chemical option, going to a dermatologist, a doctor's office, and getting a stronger cream, hydroquinone creams are options. They are a bit controversial. Some doctors are not fans of it because of some potential issues, but those are very, very potent. Another option is a niacinamide containing cream. So for those people who say, look, I'd like to just go to a Walgreens or a CVS, buy something inexpensive that I know can definitely help. There are a number of skin lightening creams that contain niacinamide. They're very well tolerated. It does take a while to lighten those spots. It could take 8 weeks or more, but it's a great way to do it as well. So I think there's more than one way to treat age spots, and it kind of comes down to the person, and how aggressive you want to be in treating it. But those are just some options.
And having your book. so you know what the options are. So the age fix is such a great tool because, I don't mind getting older, but I don't want to be or look old. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I think it's like we're all going to age, and we all need to understand that, what, we're blessed to be able to age. And
Yeah.
getting older is good because we're still here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to fight it every step of the way, as long as it's reasonable, as long as it's not an obsession and you take your self-esteem from it, why not? That's my feeling. And have fun with it. And that's part of the book as well, is have fun making concoctions at home that can work to exfoliate your skin, to reduce those dark spots. A lot of people like experimenting with their products and with making their own. It's a great way to do it without, putting yourself at risk of allergic reactions and things like that.
Oh, great. Well, the next thing I want to learn about is crow's feet.
Well, crow's feet are probably the most commonly complained about facial aging feature that I see. So I'd say probably the people who come in to see me for facial aging issues, about 80% of them complain about crow's feet. And those are the wrinkles
Really?
that radiate. Yep, those are the ones that radiate from the corners of our eyes. They're caused by contraction of the orbicularis muscle, which is a circular muscle around our eye. The first thing I recommend is to try to avoid them, try to prevent them by wearing sunglasses, because those wrinkles are caused, as you know, by squinting. So sunglasses can help. There is actually an interesting, in our office, the most effective treatment is Botox. It works within a week. It reduces those crow's feet for about 3 to 4 months. But if you're not into Botox and you're looking for something less invasive, creams aren't going to work all that well, unfortunately, just because those wrinkles are caused by the underlying muscles that are flexing and creating that. So you've got a couple of options. There are instant, within 3-minute tightening creams that you can buy in serums. There's one that's very inexpensive. It's about $15 at local drugstores called Sudden Change. And basically, if you know what the feeling is, if you ever take some Elmer's glue and you put it on your hand and you let it dry. Because what that substance will do is it'll actually dry into almost like a shrink wrap for your eyelids, and it can really temporarily smooth them out. So before an event, like a class reunion or a date, that can work nicely. But another way to do it would be to try to train those muscles not to squint so much. And you can actually go online, and there are these commercially available patches called frownies. And you may have heard of those, Tami, but they're little patches that you can put over your wrinkle areas. You wear them in the evening and while you sleep at night, and it helps to kind of splint that wrinkle and try to get you to control your facial muscles to actually not create those.
I should wear those when I'm house cleaning.
Yes, or if you're upset at your kids and you're about to do this, you have that there, and it will prevent you from making that face.
I love it.
So, those are really the best options, I think, for crow's feet. All of them do work. It's just, what's the most effective is obviously Botox. That's why it's so popular. But once again, understanding that not everybody has access to it or want to have a toxin injected into them.
Right. And what about, trying to just soften them with like a retin A or a retinol vitamin A cream? Do you think that works?
I think that can help, but the issue is you're treating the symptom, not the cause. That's the problem.
Yeah. So you have to use it forever.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And if I recommend any one anti-aging cream, I usually recommend a retinol type of a cream. And the great thing about retinol creams is that you can buy them virtually anywhere, and they're not that expensive.
Yeah.
I think scientifically, those are the most proven anti-aging creams out there. But are they really going to do much for crow's feet? I have my doubts because, once again, those are caused by muscles. And unless those muscles are not contracting, then you're going to get those crow's feet.
Now I want to know about food. I always talk about food being medicine. Well, what about food being cosmetic medicine or, anti-aging serums made out of food?
Well, and that I think is one of the hottest topics in really nutrition as well as cosmetics nowadays, is a lot of people don't want to be exposed to a lot of the chemicals and the preservatives in these products. And so in the book, there are a number of recipes for things ranging from at-home fruit acid peels, alpha hydroxy acid peels from real fruits. And those can really work. There are a number of exfoliating scrubs that you can make at home from things like baking soda and cornmeal. And even putting in milk actually in your bath is lactic acid. That was done back in the days of Cleopatra. So in my
A
book,
milk bath.
exactly, I've got several options for people who say, look, I don't even want to buy products. I want to make these at home because I want to know exactly what is in them. And I think
Oh,
very
love
valuable.
it. I love that. I love that. Well, I just want to make sure everybody knows again where to find this great book because it's got two of my passions, aging from the inside out, but also just kind of correcting a little bit of things that stress and UV radiation did with us, but in a way that doesn't harm your hormones or damage the inside of your body. So this is such a great book.
Thank
So
you.
it's at Dr. Youn, DRYOUN.com, and your book published just recently, right? Congratulations.
And it's already a bestseller on Amazon, and so we're real
Yay.
proud of it. And so we've got on the
Congratulations.
website up to 6 free gifts if you purchase a book, including the Age Fix bonus book, which is about another 35 pages or so of more tips, more tricks, more inexpensive options to treat these aging concerns, and kind of the newest thinking in a lot of these new treatments for reducing fat, getting rid of wrinkles, and some tips on what's on the horizon.
And your hair stuff is so awesome. I think thinning hair is such a big problem and women aren't talking about it. We
Yes,
talk about it in my clinic, but I love your tips for that. So
thank you.
maybe we'll do this again and we'll have a longer, maybe a podcast, which I've been asked over and over to start, and we can
We
start the
should.
conversation. Yeah, that would be
I'd
great.
love to
Well,
be a
thank
guest on it.
you.
Thanks, Tim.
And all the best and congratulations on all the success with your book, The Age Fix.
Thank you.